Well, a very good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you, wherever you might be in your world, or in the world rather. Welcome to, or welcome back to Lorena's Labyrinth, back to the channel. I'm going to do the thanks in advance, whether you're a returning visitor or new to the channel. Obviously, I appreciate you being part of my journey, and I try to express gratitude with every video that I make. Now, before I get into today's yarning, I'm just going to make the point of saying, those of you that are returning visitors are already going to know this, that I put timing chapters in the descriptions of all of my videos, and that's because I know that time is precious for everybody, and I figure that by putting these timing stamps in, you'll be able to jump to the areas of interest for you. I mean, if you've got nothing better to do with your time, you might want to actually help me out bumping up my algorithms or whatever it is they talk about. Technology is absolutely not my friend, but obviously if people watch the full video, it definitely will help me out as far as generating channel visibility, shall we say, because obviously I'm just a small channel. Anyway, look, before I get into anything else as well, I just want to remind people that I am a qualified social worker by Australian standards, and I do have an undergrad in Masters of Counselling. I never actually completed it, so I can't make claims about being qualifications. Can't even speak. Qualified. Bottom line is I didn't want to do my prac. I had 2 units left to go, and I kind of figured as a mature age student I was a bit done and dusted with the studies. Anyway, the reason I'm mentioning this is because all of my content is designed to be empowering people, and I have to make a clear distinction about when I'm drawing upon the evidence-based academic type stuff and the metaphysical, which of course is the stuff that I love and I'm fascinated with, and in fact actually was doing long before I decided to do the academic stuff, long before I took that pathway. But either way, I still like to try and make my content adhere to the professional codes of ethics, and also because of the fact that I do metaphysical work and I am a psychic as well, I kind of, and you'll see this if you check out other videos as well, that there is a psychic code of ethics that I kind of apply to my own practice anyway. But anyway, enough waffling about me, let's get into the video for today. So it would be a bit rude if I didn't acknowledge Easter, wouldn't it? Bottom line is I actually had forgotten that Easter was coming up. It kind of slipped my mind. I forgot, but I didn't forget. You know what it's like. But anyway, by the time you're watching this, it's going to be Easter Sunday. I've actually decided to record a day earlier and load it on Easter Saturday, simply, for that time management perspective. But anyway, I hope that you've had a wonderful day by the time that you're watching it. And who knows, with time differences, you might actually be seeing it earlier in the day. It will definitely be Easter Sunday night by the time I load it here. But anyway, there's something about spending Easter with small children, I think, that makes it really quite fun and magical. And I guess part of the reason why I'm not quite so excited, I'll be honest, it's because my grandkids are all on the other side of the country. So it's something I don't get to enjoy with them this year, but maybe next year or even the year after, it might be different, because I've got a new grandbaby on the way, due in September. So all the other grandies, they're all now school age. So there you go. I'm not a spring chicken. I'm an old duck, really. So anyway, yeah, it's still enjoyable when you've got children, but there's something that I always enjoyed when the kids were about, I don't know, even up to 2 or 3 or whatever. Certainly when they first started walking and they're on their little wobbly legs, because one of the things we tend to do, or certainly my family tended to do, maybe it was a tradition I brought in with my children, the Easter egg hunt, where we would actually load the garden full of all these tiny little eggs that you put out, and then and I say tiny because you obviously don't want your kids overloading on the Easter eggs, but we used to put them out and then the kiddies would go for a hunt, and it was always a real challenge and thrill here, because with our weather, if you didn't get them before 9 o'clock in the morning, they would start to melt and go a bit icky, and that's always fun if they're a caramel one, isn't it? Anyway, so leaving that alone, happy Easter, take care, hope you're all safe for it. Now, I keep saying before today, don't I? Okay, because it is Easter, there's something else that's worth mentioning. So I'm going to remind people that are returning visitors to the channel, and if you're new to the channel, this may be new information for you. And it's a reminder about Amarushaya, the angel of blessings. Now, if you've been coming back and forth to the channel for a while, you'll know that I've got the angel playlist. And one of the first angel videos that I loaded was actually Amarushaya, the angel of blessings. And this is because at certain times of the year, such as Christmas and Easter, this is a prime time to do a celebration, a ritual with Amarushaya, because the energy is heightened. And this is because generally it's a time of joy. Now, I want to articulate here that if you're not a Christian, it doesn't mean that you can't draw upon the energy of the angel of blessings. You don't have to be Christian. That's the bottom line. You can, but obviously, for people of other faiths and all the rest of it, and I'm pretty sure that all of them, excuse me while I stretch around and have a scratch, I'm pretty sure all religions, from what I can tell, they do have a celebratory ceremony every year, at least one where the focus is on gratitude, joy, and happiness, and the spirit of humanity and being kind to people. These are the times of the year, including birthdays, when the energy is higher, and that we would do a ritual. I'm thinking straight off the bat about that. I think it's pronounced Diwali for the Indian people, or is it the Hindu faith or whatever. That's a perfect time to be able to draw on her energy as well. But anyway, for some reason in Australia, although I would hazard a guess and say most of the nation is not practicing Christians anymore, we've grown up with these Christian holidays, shall we say, whether it's Easter or Christmas or whatever. And even if we're not faith, organisational, church, faith-based type people, I think over these particular holiday times, everybody makes a little bit more of an effort to be kinder and considerate to other people, for neighbours. I mean, it'd be lovely to see it happen every day. But point being, anyway, I've wandered off on that tangent. This is why I put timing stamps in. Point being, this is the perfect time of the year to do a little ritual celebration with Amarushaya, because the rituals are focused on grace, gratitude, and that kind of thing. And when we can magnify the energy of that, then of course we can attract more blessings into our life that we can be grateful for. So that's the whole idea of doing the celebration with Amarushaya. It doesn't take a lot of work, by the way. It only takes as long as you want it to take, and it will not be too late. If you haven't done it by Easter Sunday, Easter Monday is still there. You could even do it Easter Tuesday, But anyway, also, while I am talking about angels, who would object to a little bit of a miracle from time to time? If you're in the mood for a miracle, or you feel the need of a miracle, just remember that there are angels dedicated to helping you to create one. And also, when you invoke angels, always call upon the Creator first, followed by your guardians and guides, and then the specific angel that you're attempting to work with. Now, of course, as I said, if it's a miracle you're after, Hamied is the angel for you. And I just want to say, look, I don't think it really matters if you believe in angels or not, because I actually didn't back in the day. And if you've watched those videos, you'll know that. I think to some extent, in my notes I've gone, I think to some extent it does matter to be able to have faith, to hold faith in the completion of the miracle. But at the same time, I can honestly say I was such a cynic and skeptic when I first started invoking them, and I was actually really just testing the energy. But there is something about being able to hold a vision to maintain the vibration and keep it light as part of the manifestation process. And there's a fine line between holding on too tightly and actually standing in the way and blocking the receptivity of it. So it really is a case of, do your invocation, then ask, get out of the way, and let it happen. So yeah, let us know how that works for you. Back in the day, I first started testing it by asking for parking bays in places that I knew it would be very difficult to get. Work like magic, work to treat. So I'm going to keep the local community gathering slide in here on a regular basis, just in case the people that attend or are considering attending come and take a look at the yarning, because obviously I do promote my website and my YouTube channel when I do these events and advertise them. So where I'm at with it is I've actually advertised the next event, which occurs in May. Yes, because we're coming up to the end of April. And I'll try and remember to put the link to the page where you book your tickets. Remember, attendance is free in case you're one of those people that will be coming along. There's no cost. There will be a donation box out, though, if you want to shout me a cuppa or whatever, because I do provide tea, coffee, and other materials there to make the night a little bit enjoyable for you. The other thing is I do plan this time especially to take along some crystal product for sale, and that's because I've been testing suppliers, shall we say, and just trying to have a look at their product and establish the fairness of their prices and this kind of thing. So I've been importing some stuff in. So what have I got to say about that? Okay, I have done up some pouches for specific needs. I think I've still got to do the protection ones. I think I did a pouch for those people that are trying to recover from addiction. You know, they've got select crystals there that are specific towards helping address those healing type issues or those health issues, shall we say. Anyway, I will be expanding on the ones that I've got. I also, goodness me, I had the most amazing selenite bowls arrive recently. They are top quality, top of the range. So I will take along a sample of some of those. I've also got some other product, but I'll talk about that in the Crystal Magicke. But going back to the selenite bowls for a moment, they're actually really good for holding your tumble stones in, if that's the kind of thing you're into. So the weather is changing here in Western Australia at the moment, where it's gone from being quite warm to actually almost winter. So I've actually just had the biggest sneeze and scared the living daylights out of the dog. I mention this because I realise I now sound a bit nasally. Whatever. I shall carry on with this. Look, as far as the Crystal Magicke update goes, as I said before, I've been having a real field day with the crystals. You know, so those old days of me saying I don't have a vested interest in loading all the crystal content that I do, because I was loading it because I actually love crystals. I can honestly say, look, it's actually motivated me to start buying now, and with a view to do retail as well, to sell some of the stuff on, but certainly at a I would say a competitive price. Maybe not initially super competitive. I can probably price match a lot of the current retailers, but the more stuff that you buy, the bigger discounts you get from the original source, shall we say. They actually cut your discount if you buy in bulk. And then the other thing is, if you're importing, well, of course, then you get discounts on the freight. So I may not be able to undercut the current suppliers as much as I would like, but I certainly will be able to compete with them, I think. But I don't think that I'll be launching Lorena's Labyrinth as a crystal retailer probably until after June, because at the moment I've still got some work to do. I've got to set up obviously a store online. As much as I would encourage people to visit me personally, my dog's just turned up again. I hope you don't mind listening to him squeak, but I'm going to push on through it. I think he's a little overexcited. But anyway, yes, going back to my preference, and I would encourage anybody to actually find a store to go in and physically handle the crystals before they buy them. But I realise that we now live in a world where we're buying online. So I will set up an online store, but I've got to revisit my website as well and look at the design. And it's now actually, I shifted host probably 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago now. And I made some changes to it. For me, it was like rearranging the lounge room. And so it's now at that stage again where it needs to be rearranged again to fit who and what I am now and to reflect where I'm at today. There's something about colours that is really big for me, which is obviously why I've got the colour healing playlist as well. Anyway, what else have I got to say about this? We are talking about crystals. So bottom line is I've got some pliers of the purple amethyst clusters, some very small amethyst geodes that I hope will be affordable to people. I think I've got them fairly competitively priced. I've got a range of tumbles. I continue to grow those tumbles because I encourage people to buy tumble stones as opposed to jewellery. I've finally gone and got myself a display cabinet for my consultancy room. This is where all my crystals are being stored. And the only thing I've got to do now is get a LED light or some kind of light to go in it to make it look all really pretty. Now, I also have managed to find a couple of retailers, well, not retailers, a couple of sellers overseas that I can import what I call Chinese sorcerer's stone from. And this is because it is exactly the same as nummite, but it is obviously not sourced from Greenland. And that's the difference between nummite and anything else that has got the same mineral components. You can only purchase nummite from Greenland, although it is sourced from other locations. It's going to have a different name. So that's where we're at with my little crystal craze here. Now, if you've subscribed to the channel and you've clicked that button, get notified, you will have seen that this week, blue Dumortierite, the video has gone up for that. And I may have understated just how spaced out I felt after using it. You know, if you watch that video, you're going to know that I actually picked it up by accident. I thought I was putting on sodalite. I felt that I needed sodalite that day. And the blue Dumortierite that I've got is a bit deeper, a bit darker than the blue that we see here. Now, I can't blame the Dumortierite solely for that. I had believed, because I was feeling a bit emotional that morning, let's just say there'd been something happen with the family, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to try out my orange selenite because I've got orange selenite as well. So what ended up happening was I did have a little bit of a suki lala. I had a bit of a weep, not an all-out howl, following what I would call a mini tantrum that made me a little bit embarrassed, but nothing too debilitating. It was all that case of all's well that ends well. This week as well, you would have seen, well, you could have, you might not have, I don't know, but it's there for you if you want it. The video on Angelite was also loaded this week. This week as well, you would have seen, well, you could have, you might not have, I don't know, but it's there for you if you want it. The video on Angelite was also loaded this week. This week as well, you would have seen. Next week, you're going to be able to see the black tourmaline video go up. Now, I actually really love black tourmaline because I've used it a lot over my journey, shall we say, and I've got a really, well, I like to think, amazing cluster here. It's not a cluster of tourmaline alone, it's a cluster of schist with tourmaline. Now, when I say schist, it's got an S in it, okay? It's spelled S-C-H-I-S-T, tourmaline in schist, I believe. I may not have remembered the name of it well, but either way, what I've done is I have gone out on a limb. I've gone beyond my comfort zone. I actually have done a video off my phone. I've gone as far as buying one of those little photographic boxes. I'm not convinced that I recommend them, but I gave it a shot. But anyway, I've taken a video and I talk on the video and I try and explain to you in the crystal care segment. I'm going to load that video and explain what I have done wrong with my cluster as well, as far as caring for the tourmaline. The tourmaline, I've got to say, is pretty hardy. It's just the schist was a bit of a problem. And then the next video for next week as well is going to be one called Hemimorphite. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's not one that I've worked with yet. I've just bought, I've got, I think you may as well say 4 prisms of it. They're not really prisms though. I don't know how I'd describe them. I'll see if I can get a photograph of those and load them for the next video as well, because I haven't completed this one yet. I haven't even started it, actually, realistically. I've created the template and that's about it. But anyway, it's a beautiful, beautiful crystal. There's something delicious, I think, about looking at it. And that video is going to be up on Thursday for you. Now, just an overview of what we've got on the channel, the different playlists, because obviously different strokes for different folks, and in case you're a newbie on the channel as well, and hopefully you'll be a new subscriber. Obviously, I've got the angel playlist. I absolutely love angels and working with them, all right? I've got the health and well-being, which is more like self-help. It's more evidence-based stuff. Then there is obviously self-help when you talk about metaphysical aspects. I've got a playlist on chakra and some activities and exercises there. I've got colour and numerology. Now, for those people that aren't aware, I'm actually really quite surprised because so many people like to say that they're into numerology and all the rest of it. This is what I've loaded on the channel is the equivalent of a numerology workshop. The only thing that you do not get as far as information provided to you on that playlist is how to establish past life karma, which you can do if you take into account certain things, which I haven't disclosed. not on the channel. But you can work out everything else really based on your numbers and your astro. The other thing too, when it comes to the universal law, what I also often call spiritual law, that's very complex. It can get really, really complex. Some of it's fairly simple, but I think it's worth having a look at least to reflect upon and to expand the mind. Some of it you look at and think that just doesn't sound right to me, and that's okay because it might not sound right today. It may never sound right during this lifetime, but it might also sound kind of right, except for when. You know what I mean? So it prompts really thinking and using the grey matter as part of growth and development. And of course, we've got the Crystal Magic playlist, and I think that one's going to be around for a while. And will you look at that? I think I've managed to complete a video in under 30 minutes, first time in a while. So based on that, I'm going to wind up very quickly. I'm going to say, take care. I do hope that you've had a wonderful Easter, or the Easter weekend is going really well for you. Have a wonderful day, blessed week, blessed year, blessed whatever. I do encourage you also to do that blessing ceremony and to remain open to receive. And if you feel comfortable, share your experiences with us. For now, though, I'm going to say love you, leave you, take care, have a wonderful day. Catch you on the next video. Bye-bye for now.